Welcome to the fortnightly Tanso TCR series, now in its fourth season with its familiar drivers and familiar format of 2 times 20-minute races, with the second of which being a 12-car reverse grid. Round number 3 is the first time Tanso has visited the 3.5-mile road course, with its tricky infield section and its oval section, which includes all 4 of the 18-degree bank corners used by NASCAR. My name is Rob Sutherland. I'm joined by producer Rob Jackson. Hello, Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, Rob. How's it going tonight?
It's good, mate. It's good, and it's nice to know your mic is broadcasting tonight.
Good. That's excellent. And apologies once again for that last week. It was not very good, really, was it?
And I think it was systematic of a hectic race and a bit of a chaotic race, which is what I think they had on. And we're going to hope the same again. Talking about a little bit of last-minute chaos, Sam J. Smith has just joined the session 2 minutes into qualification. So he's going to turn up to this circuit pretty blind, Mr. Jackson, and we'll see how he does. So everyone else is out on their out lap at the moment. It'll be quite a long lap round here. We're expecting, I think we've got 15 or 16 cars. We're expecting lap times of around 158, maybe 157, high 157s for the fast guys. We're running fixed setup, but one of the changes we're running this race, the admins have decided, because the fixed setup for the TCR car, which is what everyone uses, just a fixed sprint setup, doesn't actually last for 20 minutes around this circuit. So they've just chucked a bit more fuel in, got it balanced, and that would allow everyone to complete the 20-minute race instead of like the normal 15-minute race, which those sprints are designed for. And Rob, another interesting thing, a couple of times this season we have seen fuel problems.
Yep, no, you're right there. Like I said, this track, it's so... it's very long straights, isn't it? It's pretty much full throttle for a good 80-90% of the track. So yeah, we had, I think, was it round number 1? It must have been round number 1, because I don't think it happened at Donington last time out. We had a couple of cars there that unfortunately ran out of fuel in the last couple of laps, didn't they? Or the last lap, definitely.
Yeah, pretty much a Donington thing sometimes. So this is round number 3. We're looking at, no one's on their flyer yet. I think Mark Brown might be on his flyer actually. So last time out we're at Donny National, and the race winner is Scott Malcolm for the feature race, and Andrew McKinley for the heat race, an all-Ignium race win for that round. These guys have returned for today, and they brought with them a new colleague, Stephen Norman, and he's in the... Or I pad for time. He's in a number 125 Hyundai. And welcome along to Stephen for tonight. Also returning for his first time this season is a familiar driver to the championship, and that's Callum Reed-Garton, Rob.
Yep, he's Callum. Obviously, last year, him and Dan, they were the back-to-front specialists, weren't they? They would, I'd say, mess up the qualifying. They would normally start the first race from the back of the grid, and more than likely they'll end up on the podium spot, definitely. But yeah, it's nice to see Callum back. He's in his trusty Audi, which he's used all the time, and so we'll see now if the Hyundais do have an advantage over the Audi on a straight line.
Yeah, wasn't that evident in the times, in the overall times? But what we didn't see is when these times were set, is we see Callum Reed-Garton go top in his first lap time of a 158.4. What we didn't see evident, it was whether those guys in practice that were putting the times out were in each other's toes or not. So, which is aero really makes a big thing around here. What we might see is the ultimate lap time of an Audi might be quite good, but how it compares at specific points in the circuit to the Hyundais and the Honda might be quite different. So we'll see. We mega off the start, off a standing start. These gearboxes really do get off the line, but through the high gears, through the 4th and 5th and 6th, they're not that amazing. So Andrew McKinley, I've got to stop saying that middle name, 158.72. He set his first flying lap, and that's followed by Mark Brown and Daniel Wareham in 3rd and 4th position, the Code Brown machine and the Team Matrix machine. John Brown's currently 5th. And change, Dan Mould. Well, he's setting a lap time today, and his first one is a 158.77.
Yeah, like you said, he's only 5/100ths of a second there behind Andrew, who's in 2nd place. But that was his first flying lap, so he'll have his eyes set in now, and hopefully he can improve, or himself will hope that he can improve and get onto the front row alongside Callum at the moment.
lap. Sector 5 purple was done by Callum Garden, which means he will be going a little bit quicker than most people into corner number 1 in and out. And we'll be interested to see what that does for his first sector time. And we'll just see if there's anyone who hasn't set a lap time. It's quite a few, isn't there?
Yeah, well, just as you were saying that, then I was just about to say Scott, one of the winners from last week. He was just on his second flying lap, and he must have had an off track on his first because it was only his second one that registered. And again, looking at the times there, he's near enough 3 seconds off pole position. So he's probably had a bit of a nightmare somewhere around here, and he won't be too happy with that currently.
I can see a few off tracks. I think some of these might have been taken on the outlap, to be honest with you. We wouldn't know for sure. Callum Garden's just set another lap time. He's still at the top of the field. And this circuit's classic for especially the bus stop and maybe Exton T1 if you're really lazy. Really famous for getting off track. So that'll affect a few people. 158.35, Andrew McKinley. He's just got ahead of Callum. And we'll be looking to see what Dan Mould, who's on camera, does. He comes out of, I think he just comes out of NASCAR 4, doesn't he?
Yeah, sorry, Dan Mould there. He's just entering onto the, in effect, the start-finish straight in a tri-oval of Daytona here. As he comes around there and crosses the line. He's set a 158.7. Sorry there, I was thought it hadn't updated. But looking at that as well, we've got Andrew, who's actually gone in pole position by 500ths of a second over Callum now, so he'll be happy with that one.
Just gonna fix a couple of things, Mike, so I can see what I'm doing a little bit clearer. I'm really, really old, gentlemen, so seeing what I need to is quite important to me because I'm a bit blind. So just gonna fix that up as we see some more times coming in now.
Yep, we see Scott and Alan. They've done 2 flying laps and they've exited the track. We've got Callum, who's coming around now to finish a 3rd flying lap. He's again just coming through NASCAR 3 and 4, entering onto the front stretch. As he crosses the line, coming up to it now, he's not setting any green sectors, so I don't think he's going to improve here. I think Andrew might have got the pole position, which he's not improved. So everyone there's set a time, all in under 2 minutes, apart from Scott Malcolm, and then of course JT Johnson must have a few off tracks and he didn't set a time.
So it's just under a couple minutes left for qualification now. Andrew McKinley goes over the line, just misses out on setting an even faster time. Sam J. Smith goes 9th in a fantastic late appearance. That's fantastic to get a top 10 start for Sam. But it looks at the moment, Neil Stevens is up in 3rd still, that unless Dan can trump them on the line, and he's set a green. I'm not seeing many other greens been set for him. Daniel Wareham goes up in the 7th. What's Dan Mould got in the bag? Well, it looks like he's just pulled to a stop. So that's a 4th place confirmed for Dan, I think. And I think that's the end of quali, Rob. So we'll just run through a quick grid.
Yep, so we've got the grid up here now. We've got Andrew McKinley in 1st position. He's followed by Callum Regarton and Neil Stevenson in 3rd. Dan Mould's in 4th. Mark Brown is in 5th. John Brown is in 6th. Daniel Wareham 7th. Stephen Norman in 8th. Sam J. Smith in 9th. Derek Crowther in 10th. Then we have Elliot James in 11th. Alan McCain in 12th position, which is followed by Ryan Dudley in 13th. Scott Malcolm in 14th. And JT Johnson in 15th position.
So cars appearing on the grid now. You can see the 2 Ignium cars on the bottom row, on the bottom lane. This will be an interesting standard start between Callum Garden and Andrew McKinley. And it will be interesting as well to see how if any of these cars do slide down the banking a little bit, which we've seen out of Brands Hatch a little bit. That can happen. This is the first time Tanso have turned up in Daytona. All cars are on the grid.
Yep, the lights have just come on now. So we've got 3 lights on, 4, 5, and the lights are off. And the cars go, and as you see there, Callum drastically turns to the left with the camber of the track. Seems to get a decent start, but Andrew's there still in front. He's got Neil behind him and Dan Mould looking up the inside, but it looks like Neil could just follow on through. Nope, he's Mr. 50-50. He's been a bit wise there, and he's not pushed it too hard, and which that now takes him coming up to the outside on the international horseshoe.
Yeah, we've seen him snake into corner number 3. Callum Regarden secured second position in the Audi. We saw a dramatic slide down the bank from him. We also saw further behind, as I think Stevenson and Mould have a bit of a contact with a bit of wheel-to-wheel maybe, as they go through the dogleg. Bit of a flash there for Neil as well. We saw a little bit of a shocking start from Daniel Wareham, as he just didn't get the car away under this new clutch, and he slid down a few positions. Stevenson is going to look in his rearview mirrors quite a lot now, because Mark Brown, who does like an aggressive start, he is all in the mirrors of the Ignium Honda Veloster.
Yep, just as we jump on board there, he maybe thought a quick half a thought about going up the inside there on the in and out section, but no, he thought better of it, and he's tucked in behind Neil, and he'll be using his draft now to great effect coming into the bus stop for the first time.
So we're in the NASCAR 1, we're coming out of that and into NASCAR 2, the continuous loop onto the back straight, and you'll see all these TCRs go into the chicane bus stop and see how they do. There's no one side by side yet, they're all in each other's toe. You can see that Mould is up behind Callum Regarden. And I think we just had a car. No, miss it. I think that's the Insignia car. Might be Derek or Elliott, I think. They just had a bit of a shocker into that. Might have lost a few positions. They'll certainly get mugged a little bit on exit. But out into NASCAR 3 and 4 now, you can see everyone's line astern, a little bit closer. And we'll see the next moment will be over the start-finish straight and decelerating at race pace into corner number 1, Rob.
Yep, that's right. Like you said, it's a tricky one here as well, because your car's slightly cambered down to the left-hand side. You got a heavy braking point, and you go from a track which is slightly cambered onto a track which isn't cambered. So you see Andrew there just has a little bit of a wiggle under braking, and yeah, heavy on the brakes into turn 1, and that's it. Looks like everyone got through there fairly safely. Yeah,
wide entrance from Dan Mould. You can see he just had the legs under toe on Callum Regarden out of the what was that? We've got a is that Alan McCain? Does he just come through? Or we missed that? He must have entered the pit lane next to the pit lane. Maybe he missed the start, Rob.
Yep, he's. I don't think he missed the start with him being up in 12th position now. Now, unless he had a drive-through penalty for getting a corner cut somewhere, I'm not too sure.
Oh, that's a really quick penalty. Bit of door contact behind, and that's the Code Brown machine of John Brown on one of the Insignia cars, on one of the Ignium cars, sorry. First time of the night, and that's Steve Norman, the newcomer to the series. And he's just had a little bit of contact there. They went like that. John's just dropped behind him now, side by side as they go through the dog leg, or out of in the turn number 6, sorry, back onto the oval. And that's just backed up and given Sam Smith an absolute guess. Tuck up behind, get in the toe, and try to get it done before the bus stop.
Yep, that's right there, Rob. Like you said, it was a nice Tanso welcome there to Stephen, and obviously all in jest with these lads, all in the same voice chat. So they'll all, show each other respect when they need it, but also like to get their elbows out for each race.
Stevenson Brown are on it as they come into the bus stop.
Yep. Oh, as you see there, Mark Brown cuts the corner, so he'll have a heavy penalty there with a slowdown. Sam.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, he did get back on the circuit all right, but I think it was a little bit unsighted from Sam, I think, on exit, which is a bit of a shame. That Elantra is probably about the same length as that Veloster now, which is a bit of a shame. A lot of front damage on his car. That will affect his toe. So at the start of the lap, he had a fantastic double toe, and now he's out in front of that car with a damaged front end. He's absolutely at the gift of this pack. And Rob, they're swallowing him.
Oh yeah, just straight past him. And also notice he's got the cone tucked under his front bumper as well there, just to the left-hand side. So that will have an effect on his aero as he goes straight on. So we think Sam might just kind of maybe give up, but just drive around and pick up another cone on his way.
Yeah, maybe so. I think he's just getting a bit of space so he can go around and go and get into the pits. I think that's probably quite wise for him, especially if he's got a bit of front end, especially if he's got a bit of steering damage as well. This is a bit of the circuit where it can get a bit frighty. That's an Ignium on Ignium, a Veloster on Elantra. That's still Stevenson and Steve Norman. The 125 car, I think, might be the one behind, Rob.
Yep, that's right. Steve is in 6th position, whereas Neil is in 5th, dropped 2 places from his starting place. So yeah, I think Neil just went off track a little bit there, lost some pace, and yeah, just got caught up by his teammate.
Smith appears top of the charts. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, that's just an SDK bug. We saw him go through the circuit, miss out half of it. So he might get the fastest lap of today, but he's just entered the pits, so he won't set that time. And I think that might be Sam. Either he'll take a faster pair and try to finish the points, or he'll just put his feet up for the next 15 minutes and wait for the second race. So this is a battle for the lead. Now we've got McKinley, Mould, and Reed Garden. We didn't see Mould get past Reed Garden, but he has. And now there's three-way fights for the lead, and it's a Elantra, Audi, and Veloster through NASCAR 3 and 4. And I think Andrew's going to be looking in his mirrors. I think as we see the Audi just duck out of the air a little bit and just tuck in behind. I don't think he wants to get alongside too far. Maybe he's just going to try and get it closer into T1.
Yep, it's you see Dan there just taking a leaf out of NASCAR box and actually doing a bit of bump drafting there on Andrew. Just trying to maybe not hang Callum out to dry, but not let him get in front and get the run on him. As Dan there does it go slightly deep in. Callum comes up the inside and gains the second position. Yeah,
fantastic opportunist move from Callum, and a bit of over the grass there from Dan. We've missed Alan McCain, and we've missed Scott Malcolm having a crash. I think we might need to go and watch that on a replay. There's Alan McCain. He looks like he screwed up T1. Maybe just lost it on the back a little bit.
We'll just jump back now and see what happened.
So he's in the tow of Ryan Dudley, and the car behind him was his teammate Daniel Wareham. And just coming into T1, just lose under brake and has a tank slapper. Gets it stopped, doesn't collect anyone with him. A little bit of front damage. That's a bit of a shame. And he will have entered the pits, I believe. So the other guy we haven't seen is Derek Crowther and Scott Malcolm. We've completely missed these guys.
Yep. Derek Crowther, I'm trying to see when he dropped out, to be honest. He was only a lap ago. He jumped to the pit, so let's just have a look here. See, Scott Malcolm did crash, so we'll jump to that and see what happened.
So Scott's in the tow of the Insignia machine. Well, this is Derek Crowther, so maybe this answers the question as they go into side by side in the bus stop. You can get stuck in the tyres there, Mr. Crowther, and that's a bit of a shame for these guys. A bit too much damage. I think that's probably a bit of a. I think Scott's probably feeling a bit bad about that, because he did stop to see if the guy would rejoin, to see if Derek would rejoin the track to continue, but he hasn't, which is a bit of a shame. But there's good team sportsmanship here between the drivers, so they're all on the same comms. But I think if we go back to live and go back to the lead, we will have missed absolutely everything. But let's see if this starts on. So we're coming around the later end of the lap now. McKinley still in first position. Callum Reed-Garden again is ducking out of the tow.
I think, again, you got to kind of way you move up in advance here, because if you go too early, then the car behind you gets the benefit of your tow, doesn't it? So I think Callum's just biding his time here, as we see Sam there coming out of the pits again. He's just biding his time, and I think he'll try and pounce near the end of the race. The joy of
the tow is you don't want to be at the starts a little bit too early, and this is definitely one of those circuits. We can see Smith out now. Stevenson's catching these guys up as they get in each other's draft. Once Stevenson gets in the tow, I think he'll probably try and just hang on to these guys. I think as we see Wareham up the inside of Ryan Dudley, and Dudley just hops over the green curb, tries to get a run as he's side by side now going down towards the dog leg, turn number 4.
Yep, that's right.
He's going to do this flat in these cars.
Well, just looking in chat at the moment as well, Rob, so it looks like there's quite a few supporters here of Ryan Dudley watching tonight, so I'm sure they'll be happy with this little bit of action now where Ryan's defending heavily against Elliot James. No, sorry, Daniel Wareham.
7 positions, you're right. +6 at the moment from Ryan Dudley. As you can see him just swap positions with Daniel Wareham. He is the biggest gainer on the circuit, with JT Johnson, 10th position, +5 so far. Quite high for him. This is, I'm trying to think, I'm getting the SRL GT4 and the Tanso TCR a bit confused. But Ryan Dudley is quite high in the GT4, I think. I can't remember where he is in the Tanso TCR Championships with 3 rounds in. But he's outside onto the back straight now, out of NASCAR 2. And he's got the Elantra of Wareham just closing in on him. One of the guys we haven't checked out in a while, I think, Mr. Jackson, is John Brown in the car number 26.
Yep, he's defending against Stephen Norman, but I've just got one eye on the timing tower because Dan is very close to Andrew again. So they're still having a race-long battle at the moment.
I think John might just try and hang him out to dry unless Stephen gets his move done before T1 and the break in. I think it'll just make him drive around the outside. He might just no. There we go. The shorter line sometimes wins around this circuit, and as the Stephen just had to swing to the outside, and that's really well. I was about to say it screwed up his exit, but I think John went in a little bit too deep as well. So battle still on for another lap between these two guys, I should think. I think there's probably one send away from a move, and Stevenson is absolutely on the back of these three now for the fight for first position. We may as well go on board with Stevenson, Rob.
Yep, just as we've gone on board there now, so we can see him catching up to the back end of Callum Reed-Garton. And yeah, he's benefited from these three battling all race, and he's managed to get himself back up there now to fight for a podium position. Yeah,
so they're going to go into turn number 6, which is, I think, probably the worst, easily the worst on the circuit, because it really loads up the front, especially in these cars. It can really screw up your front tyres, and we can just see Neil just drop a little bit off there, but don't worry about that. There's a bit of an air dam in front, and he'll allow him to bring himself back up a triple toe, I should think, by the time they get to the bus stop. Currently, he's 0.7 seconds. Oh, sorry, he's 0.7 seconds away from Callum. And yeah, this is a joy of toe driving, Rob.
Yep, it's as you say. Once you get so close, you can almost feel it, and the car's being pulled up, and you're getting there quicker and quicker.
I think it's fair to say that Ryan Dudley's fan club in chat, Rob, is they're a dedicated bunch, and they obviously have great love for the big man. So fantastic to see in chat, guys. And Ryan, your boy, is still in 7th position, plus 6th position, and it looks like he's just about 5.4 seconds away from Steve Norman in 6th. And this is still a bit fighty now between Steve Norman and John Brown. And this will just be if these guys keep fighting like this, Ryan Dudley is going to be a little bit closer.
Yeah, you're right. As I said, sometimes if you're battling for position, it's sometimes easy just to fall in behind and go one in front of the other, to especially on a draft track, to use your advantage and pull a gap with the cars behind you. But every time you're having a little battle, it just edges away. As we see, the last lap times were pretty much identical, 59.59. Whereas actually Ryan and Daniels was 2 minutes, so they're just ever so slightly, very similar pace. So it's
the biggest gainer. The biggest gainer last lap was Neil Stevenson. He sat at purple with the 57.89, and that's pretty much up there for the practice. I think that's a triple toe, and he's absolutely in it now. And that's we've got about 8 minutes left, Rob, and I think it's going to. I think he's really going to hot up.
Yep, he's got a bit between his teeth definitely now, hasn't he? And yeah, he can see it. He can see that podium position, the champagne bottles, and whatever they get now as well. It's yeah, he'll have it. He'll be ready for it.
There is an early season championship battle going on at the moment between Neil Stevenson and Andrew McKinley. Neil Stevenson currently leading the championship 5 points ahead of McKinley, who's in the lead. So this will, if Neil finishes, he'll be able to just sort of maybe keep in touch with Andrew, who's obviously in the lead. But yeah, you never can really tell around here who's going to finish in what position, because it all school can get very, very hot in the last lap. We're looking back at someone we haven't seen in a while. I think John Brown, Steve Norman's at it again. Yep. And there we go. This is from the rear of John Brown's car to the front of Stephen Norman's car. And then further back, we can see guys side by side on the oval, and that's the car of I think we've just seen a pass the lead, Rob. But this is McKinley. This is McKinley and where I'm at it again, coming down in T1. Looks like that's done. Maybe I think they're taking turns sometimes. I did see a bit of a timing board hoo-ha, and I think that was Andrew McKinley and Callum Gardner going side by side. I think that's settled down. Andrew McKinley still keeping himself in the lead.
Yep, that's right. He's half, according to the time, in half a second, but we know once they get on the straights, that'll just evaporate almost. So he's had a challenging race, I'd say, tonight, as Andrew so far, because he's got two of the quickest guys definitely behind him, who will be hungry to get some points on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Callum Reed-Garden's first. There's a SimTech car off. That's Sam J. Smith. I don't know if he went off by his own. I don't know if he went off for the talent failure or if he went off because he knew the leaders were catching him. Knowing Sam, it's probably the latter, to be honest with you. He's quite good like that. So all those guys have got past. Those four have got past. John Brown and Steve Norman are 7-8 seconds down the road, or 6 seconds down the road from these battle. And as they come back onto the oval, there's no way they're going to catch these guys for the end of the race unless the 4 up front really start fighting tooth and nail. Update on the Wareham Dudley battle. There's no change. Dudley's just sat there at the minute, and we'll see what happens to the end of the lap. Actually, we'll see. May as well go on board with Ryan as they go into the bus stop, Rob.
Yep, okay, as we go on, as we see Ryan there on the up the inside.
Right, so this is going to be pretty scary. Side by side in the bus stop, Ryan's just going to let him have it, maybe? Yeah, he does. Just dips out quite late. He does that quite cheeky thing where he says, where he dips out so late that Daniel doesn't think he's got the line, which is going to screw him up for the exit. But still, they go in Wareham Dudley, and they come out Wareham Dudley. Everyone's in one piece. They're going to live to fight another lap, I should think. Alan McCain is still down in 10th position, and we saw him have a drive-through early in the race. And that's the other Team Matrix machine. About 12 seconds back from these guys. And JT Johnson, we have seen have a crash, but we didn't know what caused that one. Callum Reed-Garden looks like he's got past Chimney and McKinley.
Yep, it's all the same with Dan as well, as we see just as we jump to him quickly. Dan's there up the inside, elbows wide, and it also looks like he's sneaking up the inside of Callum there as well, which it just pushes him wide, opens the door up for Andrew to hold there, go around the kink on the outside, but then he'll, for the West Horseshoe, he'll have the inside line. Yeah,
so it's going to get a little bit spicy now, as we're a few laps from the end of the race, and we're looking at the Audi of Callum Reed-Garden. The Hyundai Velastar, the nice new red and white livery. That's Dan Mould in the D80 car. He's one of the guys that's currently streaming now. And then we're looking at behind, we're looking at Andrew McKinley, who was in the lead, qualified pole position, and he's just holding off the Velastar of Neil Stevenson. So side by side out onto the oval, the leaders go. And we saw these guys have many battles last season, and mainly they're coming through the pack really. But this is at the front of the. It's very rare to see them this early out front of race number 1, Rob.
Yeah, no, it's I suppose it's with the draft. They managed to get in the draft, and they've caught up, and they've worked their way through. And Andrew put up a good defence for them, but yeah, they've managed to break him now. As we see, Neil also gets past him too. So I wonder if Andrew's tyres are just slightly overheated, and with all the defence he's been trying to do, and it's just opened up or gave him that loss of traction, so he does get past on the corners.
And just a bit of a weird one. He just dips up high at the moment, and I think you can see now Reed-Garden and Dan, I think they're just going to try and push each other along a little bit, see if they can work a little bit of a gap from the 2 Ignium cars behind. Over the lap, for another lap they go. We have seen I keep looking at our timing board, and it's Wareham Dudley, Wareham Dudley again, but as we go into T number 1, I think it's going to be all changed at the front again. These guys are side by side going over the start-finish straight, and we'll see what these guys do going through T number 1. Wareham on the inside, Dudley on the outside.
Yep, as you see, Ryan seems to brake slightly early, and just trying to outmaneuver Wareham, and just trying to go for the as he goes up the inside there of International Horseshoe, but just doesn't get it stopped in time.
Bit of a mistake from Dudley. Touched the grass a little bit and just entered the track in the way of Daniel Wareham. Don't know if Wareham's slowing down or if he's just trying to work out what's up with his car. Yeah, he's back up. So that fight looks like it's going to dissipate now. Bit of a shame from Ryan Dudley. He's running very well. Chat's going to go ballistic, I should think. Let's go back to the lead battle. And currently it's the Audi leading the Velastar, leading the Elantra. And Reed-Garden's just getting away with it a little bit. But we're going to see the toe and how the Velastar can get on the back, I should think.
Yep, he's 0.2 for a second back, and again with this toe, you can just see him there closing the gap very easily. And he's probably go for the sensible route where if you don't go past them before the bus stop, because that opens up the attack from the car in second place to get you back on the start-finish straight.
Yep, so they go in and come out same order. I don't think that there's any closer coming out of that for these guys. Just looks like, you were absolutely right. McKinley is just dropping back from these guys. Stevenson's not having the advantage of the big toe of the 3 cars in front because he's only got a couple of them. But it will be looking out all right for Neil because currently he's ahead of Andy on track, and that's good for the championship.
Yep, that's right. As the cross the start-finish line there again. So this now must be the final lap. You can't see Barney with the angle that they're on here, so it's very interesting now. And yeah, like you said, for Neil, leading Andrew by 5-6 points, I think. He just wants to finish in front of him and, claw, gain them points and make the gap bigger.
So this is it. They came off the banking. I think they had a little bit of a twitch as they tried to get their cars settled. Reed Garden did go in a little bit deep and just tried to get it stopped on the apex, or just on enough of the corner that Dan couldn't get through. But no, Dan just went down the inside. Nice cutback, got it through. He's now in the lead as they go through the kink and into the West Horseshoe. Just trying to park the car nicely so that Callum can't get a run or a decent cutback on him as they now come out to turn number 5 towards turn number 6. And this will be it to see how it's Callum going to drop off and try and get a run. No, he's getting in nice and good. He wants to be as close as possible for all of that area and then some, because if he drops off and loses a bit from Dan, he's got a couple of Ignium cars that want a piece of this.
Yep, that's right. And again, he doesn't want to shoot his shot too quickly and get past Dan, because after the chicane bus stop, it then gives Dan the toe, because I know from experience with driving these around this circuit, the cars are pretty much hitting the rev limiter in 6th gear once they're coming up to the start-finish straight. So yeah, he wants to be as close now as he comes into this bus stop chicane, and then get a good exit, and then use that draft and try and attack just as they're coming up to the triangle.
Much tighter end. So much tighter front end. I think he might have got a... No, not coming a slowdown, surely. But there's a bit of a... I don't know why he just ducked out of the aero from Dan Mould. But that's that's a bit of a strange one from Callum. Maybe he's yielded, keeps that position, or maybe he's looking for a late run. But this is it, last corner, and we should be looking at the flag. That's a cheeky below the line pass.
That is a cheeky move, isn't it?
That is an absolute on the line pass. It looks like Callum Reed's got it. Off to duff. That's a bit of a cheeky one.
Yep, it's.
Where's the rule book?
It's a tough one, that, isn't it? Normally, when it's the road rules, the yellow lines, the track limit, and you're not allowed to use the apron. But again, Tanso, we're not sure what rules they're running. And luckily with Callum and Dan, they're not up in the hunt for the championship at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The reason why they say pass on the road is you're on the tri-oval there, which means that you can't actually defend that easily, because you change between banked oval and flat oval, which is and that can be a bit sketchy. But that's life. We've got lines on the track for a reason. But that's a fantastic finish. I mean, that was a three-way checkered flag, wasn't it? Really, between those guys, yeah. That was fact paper width, really. Steve Norman finished in 5th position. Looks like John's finished in 6th, and Daniel Wareham in the end finished in 7th position ahead of Elliot James in 8th. Ron Dudley, after his little off at the International Horseshoe, he's finished in 9th position. And Alan McCain, JT Johnson are 10th and 11th. And I think then we're looking at the last man on the lead lap was Sir John Brown. And then the rest of the guys fast pairs, Sanjay Smith, Scott Malcolm, Derek Crowther. Well, Rob, that was do you know what? That was like a slow boiler, I think, of a race, that one.
It was, wasn't it? It was it's almost like an endurance race. Just kind of bide the time and then the last couple of laps go for the attacks and see what happens. So we'll just, once everyone's passed the line now, I wonder if Mark's run out of fuel.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe he has.
And is he crosses the line there?
We'll find out.
Because
that's him. He's the last man done.
Yeah, iRacing do simulate fuel leaks, so it is potential. So as we just bring up the results now of the race to show the official ones. There we go. So again, it's got Callum in 1st position, Dan Mould in 2nd by 6/100ths of a second, Neil Stevenson 3rd, Andrew McKinley 4th, and rounding out an Ignium trio is Stephen Norman in 5th, John Brown in 6th, Daniel Wareham 7th, Elliot James in 8th, Ryan Dudley 9th, and Alan McCain in 10th. JT Johnson is 11th, and 12th position Mark Brown on the lead lap, the last driver on the lead lap, also gets the reverse pole, comes home in 12th. Then we've got Sam Smith in 13th, Scott Malcolm in 14th, and Derek Crowther in 15th.
So we're into a warm-up now between the heat race and the feature race. The feature race is a 12-car reverse, and I think that means that we're going to have Mark Brown, who we saw crawl over the line, maybe out of fuel. He might be starting. He's starting on the first position with JT Johnson in 2nd. So your front row, that's your front row, and the rest of the guys especially the winner of the last race, Callum Garden. He's starting all the way back in 12th position with Dan Molden, Neil Stevenson. So this will create a little bit more of a pressure cooker race. So to prepare us all for that, we're just going to take a quick break. We're going to stick some music on, stick some slides on. We'll be back just in time for race number 2, the feature race, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, viewers. We're just going to wait the countdown to the start of the feature race, the 12 grid reverse. And I'm just going to take you very quickly through the starting order. Pole position, we will have Mark Brown. Alongside him, JT Johnson in the San Jose machine. In third position, we're looking at Alan McCain will be in the Matrix machine alongside Ryan Dudley, who we saw in the first race, also alongside another Matrix machine. Elliot James in the Sigma machine is in fifth position alongside Daniel Wareham. John Brown is going to be alongside Steve Norman, and Andrew McKinley in the spicier end of the grid will be alongside, as my order's completely set, he'll be alongside Neil Stevenson in an all-Ignium row, and then looking at 11th and 12th position, Dan Mould, Callum Garden, and then the non-finishers for all the lap-down guys from the first race. Sam J. Smith in third position, 14th, Scott Malcolm, and then at the back is Derek Crowther. Right, Rob, I think they're all joining nice and quickly.
Yep, they're all coming on there now. It's so we're just waiting for a couple more. Scott Malcolm's the last one who needs to join up. As the lights come on there now, so we've got 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4, 5, and the lights are off, and off they go.
And you can see the Audis are slid instantly down the slope. So all the Audis, in fact, and it's a fantastic start from Alan McCain into team number 1. He's up behind the Code Brown machine of Mark Brown. and we'll go long shot because we can see all the Ignium cars in the middle, a couple of Insignia cars, bit of contact as well. I think Daniel Wareham, Andrew McCain just had a little bit of a slide and ended up in the entrance. That's going to be a slowdown for him, and that's going to be unfortunate because he's going to join right in the middle of the pack, and you can see 3 wide with an Ignium machine, Brown machine, big slides at the back, another Matrix machine into the outside of the fence, and in the Insignia machine, it's just come back on the circuit, I think with front suspension failure, and just absolutely murder our pole sitter, our second place sitter, who lost quite a few positions on the first corner, JT Johnson. That's a little bit unfortunate. So we've lost Daniel Wareham by turn number 1. Scott Malcolm, I think, maybe just missed the start, and he's now coming out the pits. But this is a bit of a hectic one, Rob.
It certainly is, yeah. It's yeah, it is. It was a hectic one, and as we see there, like I say, JT lost 12. Well, he's lost 11 positions, and they've not even done a full lap yet.
Daniel Mould up inside one of the Team Matrix machine cars, followed by Callum Regarden, maybe. But I think Sally McCain might just chop his nose off as they go through to the oval. Yeah, this is okay. So Tanso TCR reverse grid race experience, tick, done, good. We're back at it again, boys, because we're going side by side. It looks like into the chicane. There's going to be an Code Brown followed by 2 Igniums, I think. So yep. I think that's Norman just lifts off, followed by maybe Stevenson, I think.
No, it's McKinley and Stevenson.
So this is we're +5 from Andrew McKinley already. So that's a hell of a start from him, and we can see the Stevenson, Mould, Garden instantly. They're up into the top 5, sort of between 4th and 7th position. Rob.
Yep, they're like I said, they're all gained 5 positions. Joint highest gainers, as we just see Ryan Dudley there going up alongside Mark Brown again, and going around the long way into slightly in front, but he's got the outside for turn number 1, so he can't make it stick.
Oh, this is absolutely beautiful reverse grid. We're going to see quite an early compression, I think, of the guys. It's not going to be one of those slow burners that we've seen certainly at Mid-High and some of the other circuits. All the fast guys at the back of the grid are going to get to the front as fast as possible, and it's just going to put a little bit of an early pressure on, I think, for these guys. But chat, Ryan Dudley is battling for the lead. That's probably everything you wanted and a little bit more. I think it might last for another lap or so before all the other guys catch up. But we're seeing Sam J. Smith. It's nice to see him on the lead lap and in the battle. He's side by side with one of the Ignium machines.
Yep, that's right. He's alongside Neil Stevenson. Has got the inside for the West Horseshoe. But then Neil has the inside coming back onto the oval.
They call Neil 50%, as we talked before in Tanso. He does tend to, through no fault of his own, finish 50% of the races. And it's just an unfortunately unlucky chap, I'm afraid. But he's back out in the chat. He's back out in the race number 2, and he's still alive. And he was in front of Dan Mould and Callum Regarden. But it looks like he's maybe got a little bit screwed over when they came past him. I think he's dropped off a fair bit now. As we're looking at the bank and the John Brown and the Code Brown machine, he's currently 3rd position. So it's a Code Brown, and then it's Dudley, and then it's another Code Brown, then it's an Ignium, and then Dan and Reed Garden. Nice and following. It's a bit of a wider line into the bus stop from Mark Brown. We did see a bit of a problem with the bus stop in the first number race, and now we can see a fantastic exit from the bus stop by Dan Mould. He might get this done by NASCAR 3, Rob.
Yep, he's on the high side there though, so he's got the longer way to go around. So I don't know if he will actually make that stick, because McKinley's got the draft of Brown in front. Yeah, and that's the other thing as well. If he tries to make the outside stick, Callum Regarden's going to have the toe of McKinley, and he's just going to go, no, I'm just going to take that spot off you. So bit of a tactical one from there for Dan, and that's why you see him on the inside. There's another battle for lead between Dudley and Mark Brown, and that's another lap for Mark Brown. I think that just checked up under speed there has allowed the Code Brown machine of John Brown to get through. And I think Dan's come through as well. Andrew McKinley's just let a bit of a scream out, so I think he's under the pressure, feeling it a little bit as they come down into National Horseshoe. Yeah, John Brown, he seemed to be the opportunist there. As Mark and Ryan were battling in, he saw the gap open and then went down the inside and gained a position.
Yeah, if hole appears, then send. And I think Sam Smith has just done that to Neil Stevenson as well. This is nice and spicy for an early start of the race. And it looks like we have had these races before where Mark Brown does do quite well from reverse grid, certainly for 3/4 of the race.
Yep, it's as you said, with it being a draft track as well, they've all got one big pack now, and they're all settling down. I think we've got the top 10 are all within a second or 2 seconds of each other.
which is fantastic, and hopefully that will happen for the rest of the race, basically, because it's all good to see. This is the new Simtek Racing paint job. Well, we went from the new Dan 80 paint job, D80 paint job, to the new Simtek paint job, Mr. Jackson. And it's not your Simtek, it's another Simtek, and it's the only Simtek in the race. It's fantastic to see. No Nick Clibbins today, so hopefully Nick will come back for the next race. Maybe he's a little bit busy in the real world, as we see his compatriot Sam Smith just go through the bus stop. And he, on his day, can be very, very racy, and he's sticking to the back of the Audi of Callum Garden like glue at the moment.
Yep, like I said, they're all in a massive draft train here, and it's just, I think it's just allowing Mark to wedge out ever so slightly over John here. As we see, Ryan jumps to the outside now. Again, coming up to the start-finish line. I think he'll get hung out to dry there, as we see.
Yeah.
We actually do see. Andrew
Another
goes
below
up to second.
Yeah, another below the line pass. We've seen. I did jump in with the chat as we've seen him slide it down a bit. There's a Brown on Brown action, and that's Mark Brown absolutely sent to the turn number 6. That's unfortunate from Mark Brown, but John Brown absolutely threw him off the circuit there, which is a bit of a shame from these guys. But Dudley is, I thought that was probably a mistake to go on the high side, to be honest with you, because I think he might have just opened the door for everyone to get on the inside. I think he just got a bit of a contact out of international hairpin by Dan Molden. Now he's going for a 3 wide, which is a bit punchy, I think. I don't know why Andrew's just dropped a little bit. Maybe he's got to slow down.
It's a bit of a weird place to have a slow down there, unless he missed a gear or something like that. I'm not sure, because he seemed to be after the horseshoe and then just seemed to go nowhere on the exit. But again, like I said, that's allowed Callum and Ryan to get back up, and now also Dan there just squeezing his way through, coming back onto the oval.
This is the first 10 cars, isn't it? As we see Callum Garden go for the lead there. And I wonder if there's a little bit of damage on the front of John Brown's car.
You say that as but again, he's dropping there now. He's on the high side, so it is the longer way. But yeah, we're getting whacked or whacking. He could
the wacky, the whacked or the wacky, I think, isn't it? As we see now, 2 by 2, they're going to go into the bus stop. And I think Dan's just going a little bit, just trying to line up Ryan Dudley for the exit maybe. But Ryan's absolutely under the rear bumper from the car in front. As we go on board now with Dan Mould, the car number 80. And he goes on the banking. There you go, that's what 18 degrees looks like.
It's yeah, these draft trains, they're notoriously hard then to pass, and also if you make that one wrong move and go to the outside, as we just heard Dan's car bottom out slightly, you can get freight train past, can't you, and lose multiple positions.
There's a bit of a swing out to the right from Dan Mould, just to defend a little bit. And Dan, once again, Andrew McKinley's going the outside line that proved oh so popular. Bit of a contact there. Reed Garden just touches John Brown 1 lap later, and there's a couple of Ignium cars following him as well, I think, and they've gone all the way through. This is all kicking off, Mr. Jackson. We might have to take a replay of that at some point, but I think that was Steve Norman, and I think that was Neil Stevenson, both exiting the turn number 1.
Yeah, it's I think it was just about 6-7 cars into one there, wasn't it? It just never seemed to. It was never going to work. I don't think that.
Well, it's thinning this pack out a little bit, as we see Dudley just yielding to Sam Joe Smith into the other West Horse Show. Then he reverses and sends it, and a bit of a contact there. Don't think the gap was there for you, Ryan, but fair play trying, mate. But that's allowed the exits for Dan Mould just to try and get up into the inside of turn number 6. And there's a Team Matrix car that will try and set him up as well, I think. That's the car of Alan McCain, who we saw at the start of the race.
Yep, it's. I think again with this type of racing, I think you need calm heads, and especially now, Dan's one of the quicker drivers. Let him get in front of you, tuck in behind him, use his pace, use his toe, and it gets you back up there and into the front positions, and you can join in the battles of any instances. We see Callum go on the inside and Andrew brake heavily early on there, I think. Yeah,
side by side in the horseshoe. Didn't Callum Garden just got a bit of contact? That's going to yield his exit to the Ignium machine of Andrew McKinley. And he's just, this is going to get a little spicy for a little bit. There's a part of me that wants to go back and watch that incident, but there's a part of me that doesn't want to take my eyes off this battle, as Dan Mould absolutely leaves Andrew McKinley out to dry. He's now up behind Callum Garden, giving him a bit of a push along onto the back straight. And that's a bit cheeky. That's almost as cheeky as passing below the line, Rob.
Yep, it's but again, using that draft, using it to his advantage. Andrew's hung up on the outside as Callum just squeezes down going into turn 1. You know, he saw that gap, went in, and obviously used the draft, a bit of bump drafting to get past him, and it looks like he could even be in first position now.
Yeah, fantastic from Dan to get through that position done. I think in that pack there was a lot of looking forward going on because everyone wanted to put their car at a different place in the last particular time. And I think the cars behind it were looking for gaps were probably a little bit scared. And I thought Ryan Dudley had a little bit of a late move under brake and done on him maybe. And that was a bit scary from him, I think, as they're going through the kink. Sam J. Smith, I'll tell you what, this is fantastic to see him in the race. Well, I said that, and he's just going to give Andrew a bit of a punt under braking, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it's good to see him back up amongst it all. And we're going to see a bit of a McKinley Sam Smith now. I don't know if these guys have fought on track before.
I don't think they have, to be honest, really, no. This could be like the first time they're having a battle, as we see there. Sam, he gets great up the inside there now, which Andrew just a bit of understeer. And Sam gets past him into third place, and Andrew tucks him behind to get the draft off him.
Yeah, get the toe and do it a little bit later. Yeah, Sam's you never quite know what speed you're going to get for Sam at certain particular track. Sometimes I think he has to ask his missus to unlock an extra second or so of pace to lap, I think, because he's absolutely flying in this second race, and it just makes you think what you could have seen in the first race.
Yep, that's right, as you say, and it's the same with Neil, isn't it? 50-50 sometimes in the incidents, and you know, a bit like this race. Something happened and he got took out of it, and he's way back in 10th position now. So like with Sam, if he didn't get caught up in an instance, could he have finished higher in the first place in the first race?
There's a bit of damage there on the Audi of Callum Garden on the rear. It's quite difficult to see on this paint job sometimes because it looks a little bit smudged. As we see now, the battle go another below the line little pass. Why not? Sam J. Smith has gone from about 5th position in a couple of laps ago to 1st position, leading the reverse grid race. And he's absolutely lit at the moment. But I think more concerning for Callum Garden is he's got a little bit of damage on the rear in his car. And that might be affecting him a little bit.
Yeah, it's... luckily they're not too aero dependent really, these cars, are they? But any little bit of damage creates a little bit of drag, so if he does end up losing the draft, then yeah, like you said, that damage could hinder him quite a bit. Yeah,
and when you are in a draft, sometimes it can affect you getting the overspeed as well from the car in front of you as well, which you might like to see. Dan Mould, 3 wide, that's a bit cheeky, that. So what you saw there is Callum Garden just put his nose up the inside of Dan. Dan put his nose as a result of the inside of Sam J. Smith. And Sam J. Smith exited stage left at the International Horseshoe. That's unfortunate, but Sam was having a fantastic race. But he's now back down in 9th position behind Mark Brown, who we also saw fired off early in the race. And that's unfortunate from Sam.
Unfortunately for Sam, though, he was plus 12 positions, and now he's only plus 4 from his starting place. So he won't be too happy over that. But again, it's the close contact TCR racing. It's I'm sure they'll be apologetic to him and apologise as much as they can.
So we can see the pack has thinned out a little bit. Further back, a chaps that we've not seen, and we can see Callum Garden just dropping a little bit off the back of these guys now. So I think there's got to be some aero damage on the back of that car. He's dropping into the pack of the 2 Insignia guys we've not seen at the moment. Derek Crowther followed by Elliot James. We saw them having a little bit of a bit of a hoo-ha in the first race, and I think we saw them in the first lap. I think one of the cars get involved in it got collected when the car came back on the circuit, and now they're just at the back at the expense of all the chaos ahead of them. They are currently 6th and 7th position, following Callum Root. I think we just missed Ryan Dudley taking the lead. I think we should take a look.
Yep, it's we can. Let's just go back and see. Should we just go back and see a replay of that where Ryan went past them all?
Yeah, I think it might have been quite late into T number 1. I think because I saw a message say that he entered the pits, which I think is cutting this line. There we go. Yeah, fantastic job done from him. And now I think Andrew McKinley will be looking quite aggressive on the back of him. I think if we go back to live, Andrew's done him on the kink already. And as they go into the horseshoe.
Yep, that's right. I can. This type of racing now, they could be swapping every lap, changing, every corner, similar to Watkins Glen where we've had in the past, where no move was fully done for 2 laps. And
we saw that at Nürburgring GP as well, I think, and Sebring maybe quite a few others. We saw the last race go to 11 laps. We're currently on lap number 8, so we've got about 3 laps left, I think. This is a fantastic job from Ryan. It's not long into the championship, Ryan. I think we saw him start in maybe season 2 or season 3. I think certainly season 3, and he's come on a long way. And I think that's just seat time, really. So fantastic effort from him. And I just want to check the last lap time from. Yeah, last lap time from Reed Garden was like a second plus slower than Dan Mould. So yeah, it's definitely dropping away a fair bit, I think.
Yeah, he's you say then again he's dropped away. He's right up behind him again now. He's only 10th for a second behind him.
God, what do I know? God,
it's
a day job.
No,
yeah, so Callum Reed Garden, maybe he's getting his front tyres back. Maybe he's just taking a rest. Maybe he thinks that 4th position at this point in the race is quite good. We see him do that sweep out, and you know what? I think that's just he doesn't want too much speed over, does he? So he's right behind Dan Mould now. And he just doesn't quite go on the outside. Just going to sit there, I think, see what happens ahead. Just look for a mistake if it happened. That's a bit cheeky from Dan.
Yep.
Just trying to thread the eye of a needle, I think, and that's unfortunate from Dudley. I think we've seen a couple of those for him today, and that's going to freight train him all the way down in 4th position. Maybe. I think he's still got track position into the horseshoe, and yeah, he might get Garton done. Let's see. I think it's a bit of a tight exit for him. I think he might drop. This is I tell you what, Ryan's had a busy race. He'll be enjoying this on board, I think.
He certainly
and that chat will be a little bit blue, I should think.
Yeah, he's. I think he was quite lucky there as well with that little tap in the TCR. As you can save them quite easily, can't you, with the throttle? And so he would have done a heavy right foot to just bring the car back straight again. And luckily, he didn't lose too many positions. He's
it wasn't quite a Gordon Shedden 180 save, was it? But it's fantastic little nice quick one. Boot the throttle, pull it back in, pull it back round. He's out corner number 6 now onto the oval again. That car behind him is Alan McCain, who we've seen go down and back up the order. Oh, that's it. We saw him start on the start of the grid, didn't we? We saw him start on pole position, and then I think he messed up T1, or he got hit into T1. He had to go through the pit exit, didn't he? Yes. Which dropped him out in the middle of the pack. So yeah, that shows you that in a Tanso you're never really truly off the back of the grid, really. And he's recovered very well for 5th position.
Yep, he's down 2 from his starting place, but yeah, from an error like that at the start, you know, it'll still be decent points, and the top 5's always good results, isn't it?
I think it's fair to say as well that by doing what he did, he missed a lot of the chaos, which would probably be advantageous for him as well. So if you wanted a quiet race, then that's a pretty good way to do it, I should think. Biggest gain of the race so far? Well, we got 3 people. How rare does this happen? Well, we've got 3 people plus 9. Dan Mould, 2nd position. Callum Reed Garden, 3rd position. Derek Crowther, 6th position, plus 9, and leading his Insignia teammate of Elliot James up. So that's fantastic games from those guys.
Yep, just as they crossed the line there, though, Rob, I'm sure I saw Barney waving that white flag. So this now could be the last lap of the race.
Yeah, so last lap of the race. Neil Stevenson's worst nightmares are coming true because Andrew McKinley is out in the lead, and it looks like he's a little bit clear at the moment from these guys. So he'll be getting a lot more points than Neil, who's currently circulating down in 10th position. If it finishes like this, and Callum Reed Garden would like most to not have it finish like that. I think he will want the top step, and Dan Mould behind, he'll probably want that as well. And this is going to be quite spicy, as we're going to see what the tow does for them.
Yep, that's right. You know, we've got 1st place all the way down to 7th. Well, I'll say 6th. There's just over 2 seconds between them. So yeah, it's a nice long train. And I suppose Callum now, he'll want to stick behind Andrew until they get to the bus stop chicane, get a good exit, try and get that inside lane for NASCAR 3 and 4 to cross the line in 1st position.
So out of NASCAR 4.
Oh, I see what Callum did there. He went up the banking to get a bit more speed to come down, I think, there. So that was his little trick there.
And in and out the bus stop they go. Well, all of a sudden I thought I didn't know where I was in Daytona, but no, sorry, we're out of the bus stop now into NASCAR 3. Callum's going to use all the tricks he's got to try and just get under the rear, and we're going to see if he does the same thing to Andrew, what Andrew did to those guys, I think, because he is maybe close enough. As we see Ryan Dudley and Dan Mould going to go line side by side as they go across the start-finish line, or they will be, I should think. I think Ryan Dudley's got the line from these guys, but Andrew McKinley takes the win. Callum Reed second. Fantastic third position for Ryan Dudley. He'll be telling his mates about that down the pub, I should think, in a few minutes' time. And that's the fourth from Dan Mould, with the fifth going to Alan McCain. And there's an Ignium and Simtech battle there. And that's the Sanjay Smith, Neil Stevenson, Steve Norman going over the line. Crowther finished in sixth position. Elliot James finished in seventh. Mark Brown with an E, who we saw in the lead for quite a bit of that race, finish in eighth position. And we're looking at JT Johnson now. He was on the front row of the start. He's currently circulating 12th position, the last of the runners so far. As we see Callum regarding, don't quite know how Callum got that far around the circuit on his parade lap, but still, put a lap up on JT Johnson as he goes out the last corner.
And as he looks quite heavily damaged there, the front left of his Audi, so that will be hindering him dramatically down the straight, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely down on speed, I should think. So this JT Johnson finishes 12th position, and that brings the final finish of the race number 2. And we might be able to bring up some. There's a cone, maybe. Oh, okay, well, there's cones everywhere at the moment, which is pretty classic for the end of a Tanso race, really. But we should bring up the final classified results, and my colleague Rob Jackson will take you through them.
Yep, so we've got Andrew McKinley in first position, followed by Callum Regarton in second. Ryan Dudley rounds out the podium in third position. Dan Mould in fourth, Alan McCain in fifth, Derek Crowther in sixth, and Elliot James in seventh. Mark Brown in eighth, Neil Stevenson in ninth, and top 10 rounded out by Stephen Norman. Sam Smith is in 11th, JT Johnson in 12th, and then we've got John Brown a lap down, Daniel Wareham, and then Scott Malcolm, who I don't think actually made the grid for this race.
No, I don't think it was a bit of a shame, really, because he's currently fourth in the championship with him and Mr. Crowther, I think. Okay, fantastic. So that's the end of race number 3. I think, Rob, you can have some closing notes with mentioning your drive of the day, maybe. And while you do that, I will try and remind myself what track we're at next.
Yep, I think driver of the day, everyone was quite well, and maybe the chat swayed me ever so slightly, but Ryan did very well, especially in that final race. Same with Sam in the final race too. But I think I will have to give it to, it may be controversial in the sense that he's always up there, but I'll have to go with Callum, because he's not been in the car for a bit, and then he comes back and finishes in the on the podium in both races as well.
That's a good shout, actually. I'm going to say Callum as well, mainly because he's driving the Audi, and the Audi's an absolute dog at the moment. So fair play, Mr. Carden. And he was using his brain quite a bit on the bank, and I thought. So, yeah fantastic. That's 2 drive of the days for Mr. Callum Regarden. Congratulations, Callum. Welcome back. I've been looking at my calendar, and the next race is on the 8th of July. 2 races at Mosport, which is Canadian Tires Motorsport Park, which I can tell you in TCRs, that's going to be a little bit of chaos. So we'll be back then. I'm just going to see if there's anyone just topping up for an interview. Yes, there is. Rob Jackson, is this your debut for your interview?
No, unfortunately, it's not, mate.
Right. Okay. So we got our winner of race number 2 just about to join us. Andrew McKinley, welcome to the booth. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
So congratulations on your win number race number 2. As someone that was involved in battles for both races, how did you find that?
It was really enjoyable. I mean, this track is just completely a draft on those long oval straights, and once you're in the lead, you could not stop, and it's absolutely great to see.
Fantastic. Okay, is this the first time you've raced Daytona?
Yes, in this series, but I've raced around Daytona before in this legacy version.
Fantastic. And just how much? How did the guys in the voice channel, take your race 1 victory?
Race 2 victory.
Race 2 victory. Sorry, yeah.
They didn't congratulate me that much, but overall it was quite an entertaining one. I was sweating like nuts.
So that finish in the second race should take you to the top of the championship. The next race is in 2 weeks' time at Mosport. Have you driven that circuit before, and are you looking forward to it?
I've tested around I've tested around that track before, and I'm hoping that the race will be really entertaining.
Fantastic. And just a final note: is there anyone you'd like to say thank you to, or any last notes?
thank you to you guys for making this incredible series, and I hope Rob hasn't muted his mic this time.
No, he's not been muted this time. I have been on comms.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. But yeah, I want to say a huge shout out to you guys for making this.
Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Congratulations on your results tonight, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.
Right, so with that, no one else is hopped up for an interview. Yeah, well, 2 weeks' time, we're at Canadian Tires Motorsport Park. So we're going up the coast a little bit in America, or quite a lot in America. Hopefully, we'll see you there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.